river, and especially the alluvial forest, disappeared as a result. The Rhine between Germany and France is now primarily a waterway for ships, no longer a wild river. It flows in a shipping canal between Freiburg and Offenburg, and behind that the winding old Rhine arms. Only 2% of the alluvial forests are still left, on the Ile de Rhinaud and the Taubergießen. Separated by dikes, most of these water bodies are not connected with the turbid Rhine anymore. Some of them are crystal clear, a magic underwater world. Little is growing after the hard winter. Some alluvial forests are regularly flooded at this time of year. Wood anemones are able to grow on this dried out forest floor, the first signs of spring. Slowly, the alluvial forests start to green up. There's a constant sound of drumming coming from the trees. Great spotted woodpeckers have spring fever. While other birds break out into beautiful songs, the woodpeckers hammer away. Rhine's floodplains are an amphibian habitat, but adult wild boars don't care about floods. They're excellent swimmers and can swim for long distances. While the woodpeckers in the upper, drier regions of the alluvial forest still hammer on a tree to stake their claims. Too much water can be deadly for the piglets. The sow therefore digs her nest further up in the forest where it's dry. After 1 to 3 weeks, the piglets are strong enough to follow the adults through the moist part of the alluvial forest. The nature reserve offers a nursery to many animals in the springtime, on the surface and underwater. Leaves, a residue of last autumn. Many of the aquatic plants in the still frigid waters of the old Rhine have not started to grow yet, but that hasn't kept others from reproducing. Hundreds of thousands of gelatinous eggs are covering the water's surface. Grass frogs meet up to mate for only a few days in the early spring, and then to explosively lay eggs. Grass frogs are one of 10 amphibian species in the floodplains. This many frogs also lures in predators. The common toad mates a little later than the grass frogs. The females lay eggs only every 2 to 3 years. Therefore, the males are extremely aggressive maters and lose all sense of danger during their rapture of love. Often, several males hold on to one female, biting her and even drowning her before she can lay her eggs. And at times, a little egret quickly ends their love tumble. Right above, a male grey heron carries nesting materials to the nest. He offers a dry twig to the female as part of their mating ritual. Everyone has their own expression of spring fever. The cormorants gurgle and throw their heads back to create deeper sounds. The female heron quickly adds the new twig to her nest and is now ready to mate. quite a balancing act. The male has to hold onto the neck of the female with his beak. The Upper Rhine is one of Germany's warmest regions. Spring and summer arrive sooner here than elsewhere. The flowers start to bloom earlier. The great climate and moist alluvial forests create a paradise for birds. Some of them, like the white swans, stay here all year round. Others only come for a certain period of time. More than 200 different species of birds live in the nature reserve at some point during the year, like the western curlew with its curved beak, and also the smaller ruffs, or the snipe. The floodplains, wetlands and alluvial forests of the Ile de Rhinau are protected. Many of the birds here need the water to survive. The snipes poke around for worms and snails along the shore. Tufted ducks, on the other hand, can dive up to 2 meters to search for mussels and small crabs. In the old Rhine arms, kingfishers plunge into the water to catch fishes, sometimes even 2 at once. Striped like piglets, the chicks of the great crested grebe hatch in a swimming nest made of reeds, small twigs and aquatic plants. They can swim and dive starting from the day they hatch. But underwater, hungry pikes are lurking, so the chicks are carried around on the backs of their parents, nestled comfortably within the feathers. The parents feed them little fishes and insects. New inhabitants from Africa have also started to rear their young here. Egyptian geese were once kept as pet birds because of their pretty colours, but they escaped and are now starting to make a home in Central Europe. This jungle of Baden-Württemberg with its dense river systems is one of Central Europe's most biodiverse regions. Some of the old Rhine arms are quite different from others, because not all of them are still connected to the large turbid river. There must be other feeder streams, because some of the arms are crystal clear. Their water stems from springs. Cold, clean groundwater bubbles out of these springs known as Gießen. The water either came here from the Black Forest or it's Rhine water that has filtered through the thick gravel layers. It comes up from the ground and fills up the old Rhine arms that were cut off from the main flow. Aquatic plants cover the Gießen and large predators now hunt here. A 1.5 meter long pike is hiding close to the shoreline. It shoots out from its hiding place to catch its prey. Got it. But the pike caught the bass the wrong way round. The bass's fish scales would scrape open the pike's throat if it swallowed it like that. The pike has to let the bass go. The injured fish disappears into the darkness, where a catfish then takes advantage of this easy prey. Under the cover of roots, the pike is waiting for another opportunity to attack. Mirror carp are very shy and like to hide in the thicket of algae. This carp is too high up for the pike. But there are smaller ones also hiding in the algae. And this time its prey is caught correctly. A catfish can grow up to 3 meters long and is one of the largest freshwater fishes. It's typically active at night. Therefore, it's better to withdraw into the dark where the fish gets its bearings by feeling its way with the barbels, which are full of tactile corpuscles. It's mating time for the pikes. It can be quite dangerous for the smaller males to come near a female. Some of the females often have cannibalistic cravings. During mating season, luckily, she has a natural bite inhibition. Several males vie for one female and try to push each other out of the way. The entire mating act can take hours, therefore the males will take turns by her side. The female pike sometimes has hundreds of thousands of eggs, enough for everybody to fertilize. Only few of them will grow into adult pikes, not least because of the cormorants. After a 30-day incubation period, the cormorant's chicks have hatched and are tended to by both parents with regurgitated fishes. So the adults are constantly on the hunt for food. Their plumage is permeable to water, and the air flows out as soon as they descend underwater. Therefore, the birds have little buoyancy. Better to quickly catch another little fish with the hooked beak. With its head tilted forward, the bird swallows the catch and flies back to the nest to the chicks that are waiting hungrily. The parents are now continuously flying back and forth. The young will have to be tended to for about 2 months. But even when they're fully fledged, the parents still have to feed them for another 3 months. The chicks' constant begging for food is exhausting to the parents. But even when they try to take a well-deserved break in the sun, their pesky neighbours get on their nerves. 2 Eurasian coots are attacking each other along their territorial border by kicking. One of the Eurasian coots has come too close to the other's nest. The chicks have just hatched. Scruffy and brightly coloured like little punks. After 3 to 4 days, the young chicks are already leaving the nest during the day. And while floating on the water, are fed by the parents with rotting aquatic plant pieces. Sometimes the parents also dive to the bottom of the Rhine arm in search of snails, insects and mussels that they feed to their offspring. In order to dry, the scruffy chicks have to go back to the nest. It will take a month before they can dive on their own. The alluvial forest is full of offspring now. A vixen has built a nest in the upper regions of the forest, where it's always dry. She will give birth to about 6 young. This vixen has even more cubs that are tussling for her teats. And there's even one more. When they leave their den for the first time after a month, the little foxes